Hey retro gamers, today on Smashing Bricks we head back to 1997 and save an entire solar system as anthropomorphic mercenaries in Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 64. I'm Eddie Inzauto, and this is Smashing Bricks. Hey, welcome to Season 5 of Smashing Bricks, a retro gaming podcast, a show about revisiting classic video games together to see if they hold up to the rose tint of nostalgia. This is episode 49, and in today's episode, I'm joined by our very first Starman tier patron, Ms. Muso, also known as Brittany. Hey, Brittany, how's it going?
It's going really well. How are you, Eddie?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to have you. Finally, here you are. I mention you every time I record, and I feel like you're already part of the co host crew in a way. And now you're basically a producer of the podcast as a Starman tier.
I feel like I've had more influence on this podcast than I deserve. So it's about time that I appear.
The value of being an early adopter, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here you are. You picked a game. We'll talk about it in a second, but first, I'm going to do with you what I've done with other first time guests and give you a little rapid fire, quick answer gaming questionnaire so people know a little bit more about you. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So first up, when did you start playing video games? Like what generation, what console, what platform? Tell me.
Oh, PC would have been early, back when there were still floppy disks. And when I say floppy disks, I mean the hard disks, really. Playing a lot of MS-DOS. So
Nice.
I grew up in that era, and the first home console was our Atari 2600 and
Ooh.
Nintendo 64 straight after that. But I was a bit jealous of my cousins who had the NES and the SNES,
Yeah,
even
what a
though we had
gap, huh?
but we had the newer console.
Right, the N64, and we're talking about an N64 game today, but we'll get to it. What's your favorite genre of video game?
I like an RPG, so my favorite game of all time, you're probably going to ask me this, but my favorite game of all time is Skyrim and
Hmm.
anything sort of like that. But I'm really into Stardew Valley at the moment, so I play all kinds of things.
Oh, very cool. It's a wide range.
Mm.
Skyrim. I still have to play Skyrim. I feel so odd having played the games prior, but not Skyrim, the one that kind of became the most popular and the most
Mm.
enduring, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So who's your favorite developer or publisher and why would that be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have a lot of love for all things Nintendo, but particularly Rare. So Donkey Kong,
Oh,
Country Donkey
nice.
Kong 64, love those, and like Banjo Kazooie. They were just always on the playlist.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, Rare. I don't think there was enough Rare games released.
Yeah. Do you think we covered enough rare games on the show so far? I feel like I go to them a lot.
Oh, we're getting there, yeah.
Yeah. Were you mad about the Banjo Tooie episode?
Well, I agreed with you. I hated Banjo Tooie.
Oh, nice. Love it. Thank you. Great. Okay, let's do another one. Oh, you said you played PC and then you moved to console. So PC versus console.
Nowadays, console, absolutely.
Okay. And we'll do one more. I don't know if you're super familiar with this generation, but I like to ask this one. This is what I call buy, borrow, or bin. PS2, GameCube, and Xbox.
Ooh, I have a PS2, so
Mhm.
I'm going to borrow that. I'm going to bin the Xbox only because it's done. Some good titles on it, but we've moved on from there. But definitely buy a GameCube. I never got to play one growing up, and it's something on my wish list.
Okay. All right. So that is Brittany's little background. And I think that gives us a little bit more of an understanding of where you're coming from. And now we can
Mm.
talk about Lilat Wars, right? Was it called Lilat
That's the
Wars where you are?
that's the one. That's the one on the box.
Yeah, nice. Also known as Star Fox 64 to all of us uh, in other regions where the game wasn't renamed to avoid being named similarly to a German company that produced cleaning and sanitation equipment, particularly vacuum cleaners. What?
So
Why would they
wild.
try to avoid that?
Yeah, like they have nothing to do with each other. But hey, what is it? Copyright and all that jazz.
Yeah, I
Got to.
suppose. So yeah, Star Fox 64, Star Vox 64, Lilat Wars in PAL regions. Um, so let's get into it. This one came out in 1997, same as the previous game that we talked about on the show, Grand Theft Auto. It was April in Japan, June in North America, and October in PAL regions, which includes Australia. The developer was Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, also known as Nintendo EAD, obviously published by Nintendo. And we had Shigeru Miyamoto, as the producer and credited as designer on this one. So,
The
what genre
goat.
is this? What do we call this?
Well, 3D space shooter. It's an on rails system, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know which way to go.
mostly on rails. They did add all range mode in this one,
That's
which was
right.
a holdover from Star Fox 2. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Mm.
Yeah, 3D space shooter. We're doing a lot of flying, shooting some lasers, shooting bombs, doing barrel rolls, doing loop de loops, picking up power ups. You know, really cool. Following the straight path and going along with a kind of cinematic narrative for the time, especially. We
And listening to
travel.
some
Yeah, oh, and listening to some really good music. Is that what you're going to say?
music
Or
and
listening to the dialogue?
the dialogue, the voice acting in this was very, very good. Quite excellent for especially for this
Peak.
time. Yes.
Yes, and meme worthy. In this game, what are we doing? We're traveling from planet to planet throughout the Lilat system, and we do 7 planets or areas in the game, and we have the opportunity to do this in 25 different combinations, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Um, and I guess I wrote in here just to clarify for anyone who hasn't played this or isn't familiar. This is kind of an over the shoulder. If our spaceship had shoulders, it would be like an over the shoulder from behind view as opposed to top down or side on or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um,
However, the I'll mention it here that there is a first person view that nobody
that's true.
uses.
That
Yeah.
nobody uses because it is ridiculous when you try to do a somersault or a barrel roll.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what Fox is seeing. I've tried it before. I remember trying it when I was a kid, and I wanted to do it like to be cool and like just be like, I don't know, flashy, but it just never
Yeah.
stuck for me.
It kind of works in the training mode, but that's about it.
Oh, the training mode. I forget what the training
Mm.
mode was because I didn't do it this time, unfortunately. And didn't get to do any
Ah,
multiplayer either, which this game has.
yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, early 3D graphics, classic N64 fashion, polygon objects and backgrounds and some other like landscape objects that are sprites that do the Mona Lisa thing where they're looking at you straight on whenever you circle around them they twirl to face you like in a lot of other Nintendo 64 games, which
It's a good
is
description.
it's so weird, but I mean it worked. That's what they did
Mm.
to do more with the system, I suppose. And the story, a mad scientist, Andros, is trying to take over this galaxy. We are mercenaries called in by the Cornerian army to assist. And it seems like what? Like there are two actual planets in this system, Venom and Corneria, and everything else in between is just like a war zone, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Even the other planets, they're not like inhabited planets. It would be like
Yeah.
Earth, and if another planet in our solar system had people on it.
Yeah. And the sun that you can go and visit casually.
Yes. Very, very strong spacecraft to be able to go within inches of the surface of their star,
Yeah.
which is nuts. But we'll ignore the physics of that for the sake of suspension of disbelief. Okay, so what's your prior relationship with this game? Did you play it back in the day when it came out, or did you come to it later, or what's the deal?
Not as soon as it came out because I would have been 5 years old. Um,
Mm.
we probably got it about 99, 2000, something like that. My whole family would play it, and there are my parents and my four siblings. Mum was the first person to discover the hard route, and
Mm.
the rest of us. I think I played the easy route hundreds of times, and then finally figured out how to go on the more medium path
Mm-hmm.
because Aquas was just too hard when we tried the hard route, and then we got a bit older and we were able to do it. But it you know, it's got the rumble pack. Everything's really designed with the Nintendo 64 controller in mind, and I think that was why it was always the game to play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. This one I played so much of, and I got it right away because the Rumble
Mm,
Pack was a big selling point. It was like very exciting. This is literally the first non-arcade game or non, I guess, computer games that had wheels. Some of the wheels had force feedback in the mid 90s,
mm.
possibly, but this is widely considered to be the very first video game, non-arcade video game that introduced force feedback in the controller or rumble with the rumble pack. And it was cool.
Yeah.
Later on though, yeah,
Was the Rumble Pack released with it?
it came in the box.
Yeah.
It was a big extra box, and like it was a large size box made out of thicker cardboard, and the rumble pack was in there. And I guess they sold it separately also, but that's how I got it, was with Star Fox. It was super exciting too. I remember
Mm.
how immersive it felt in this game and in GoldenEye, and I loved it. And I was like, "Oh my god, this thing's shaking so much," because the rumble pack was so strong too in its rumble, and because it was a heavy piece off the front of the controller, it kind of had a
Yeah.
different rumble to it than the DualShock, which came maybe like even later in the year or maybe the next year. I can't remember exactly.
Mm.
But most of the other controllers throughout gaming history, I mean, recently, I guess they've gotten much different, stronger, and dynamic. But for a long time, the vibration in the other controllers didn't really do much for me, when I definitely recall vividly thinking how cool the Rumble Pack was. I don't know if it was been there, done that, or if there was some Nintendo bias at that time for me, or if it actually did feel different and better to me. But I really enjoyed that, and everyone thought it was cool. We like acted like, oh, we're putting our the clip into a gun and stuff because we were, teenage
You mentioned
boys.
the heft of it, and that I think that
Mm-hmm.
makes it the very tactile element of having a rumble pack. Um, like it's more immersive, isn't it? I suppose
Yeah.
that's what they're aiming to do. But you feel that weight, you feel the rumble, and you're actually responding to more than just what's on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can't play without it.
Right. Right. Well, I had to,
You can,
unfortunately,
but
this time. Yeah, you can,
mm,
but it's not as good. I remember specifically like all the explosions, or when you would beat a boss, it would vibrate like crazy, and that was
oh yeah,
always like it was like jumping out of your hand.
mm,
But I played again. I played this game so much. I played tons of multiplayer with my friends, 4-player multiplayer, and I played the single player mode in just about every way possible. I did
yep,
all the challenges on every area, and I got the fancy new title screen that you get. And I also remember getting this is probably why I bought it right off the bat, is I got one of the promotional VHS tapes from Nintendo Power. They sent them
Ooh.
out. They sent out a lot of them. The first one I remember was one for Donkey Kong Country. I probably mentioned it in that episode. And then they had one for the Nintendo 64. Just a bunch of games were shown on that. Then the Star Fox one. There was one for Diddy Kong Racing. There was, oh, I have a couple others. I don't remember all of them. But yeah, they used to do that. They used to just send out VHS tapes to the Nintendo Power subscribers. And I got this one. It got me excited. I think there was something, it was like an interrogation of like they were pretending to be Sony or Sega people interrogating Nintendo people about the new. It was wild.
Oh.
But got me to buy the game, I guess. Because I hadn't even played Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. Maybe I had like for a
Right.
second, but it wasn't a game that was familiar to me.
Yeah, I went back to Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch Online's um, NES or SN, whichever one it's on. I went back to play it to see where it kind of started, and I actually got a bit distracted by all the stars, all the movement. I found it very hard to watch, but once you get used to that, it's they're very different. You know, obviously it's the same game. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
air quotes. Um, but you go into the 3D world, it's a lot more tangible. You're able to see a lot more of what's going on.
Yeah, they're doing fewer make this 2D plane look like 3D tricks when they actually
Yes.
have a fully built out 3D world.
Mm.
Okay, so a little bit of the history, which follows right along what we're talking about. Star Fox was on the Super Nintendo. Then they started to make Star Fox 2 from like 1993 to 95. And by the time 95 rolled around, we had the PS1 and the Saturn. And
Mm.
Star Fox 2 would have needed the FX2 chip, which is Nintendo used to add additional chips into their cartridges to give them more features, but those would also make them more expensive. So an FX game would be maybe like $80 instead of $60.
Mm.
So they decided to cancel it, even though it was basically done, in favor of making a 64-bit game on the upcoming Nintendo 64, which was coming the next year in 96. So this game arose originally just from a port of Star Fox to the Nintendo 64 on some basic hardware, and it was mostly by artist Takaya Imamura, and it became his pet project. Later, he would call it the game of his life. And Miyamoto would say that 30% of Star Fox 64's gameplay came from the original game, 60% came from the canceled Star Fox 2, and the remaining
Mm.
10% was original work done during development of this. He said they
Yeah.
really just pulled some of that old stuff to make this game. And we'll leave the development there. I'm trying to do a little less of that. As for ports and remakes, we got Star Fox 64 3D in 2011 on the 3DS. And just last year, those people who did the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time thing on PC, they did it for Star Fox too, and they called it Starship. So there's a PC port of
Ooh.
this game that is made via decompilation of the original and rebuilt on the PC kind of natively. So I'd love to try that. I tried the Ocarina of Time one for a little bit and it was pretty cool. But this one would
I need to
probably
check them
be
both out.
yeah. I feel like it would be a really fun way to revisit this one.
Mm.
The reception for this, it got an 88% on Metacritic. That was the average score. And the only award that I found that it won at the time was Shooter of the Year at the 1997 Editor's Choice Awards at Electronic Gaming Monthly. Otherwise, later on, it would be called the 45th greatest game of all time by the Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition in
Mm.
2009. And also, official Nintendo magazine ranked it 14th in the list of the greatest Nintendo games. Then in 2012, G4 ranked it as the 74th greatest game of all time on their top 100 greatest games.
So obviously a great title. I would wonder what awards were available in that 1997 Editor's Choice of Awards, because this is the first instance I know of that had really great voice acting, which was not a big thing yet.
Mm, yeah.
So, because sound chips couldn't handle the voice on the older games, or you remember those old kind of blocky chip sounds of
Yeah.
voices. Yeah, so we actually get some real voice in the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly good in this one, but I think if I had to guess, it probably went to a disc-based game where they had,
Probably.
CD quality audio and more storage.
Mm.
If they had an award like that. I didn't look into it, but that would be fun to check out. Also in 97, EGM ranked this the 39th best console video game of all time, which I just skipped over in my notes. Um, but so that's what everybody thought about it then. But what do we think about it now? Because we just played it. And we played it a few times through, I've heard.
Oh
Right?
yes.
So which path did you take on this one?
I did all of them, of course, because I had to get all the medals again on my Nintendo Switch Online, the N64 version, and unlock expert mode. So I had to play it through. I think I've played it through 7 times in the last few weeks.
Oh wow. So you did it in enough different permutations to
Yeah,
hit every location.
yeah. So I like to, you've got to hit the warps. You've got to do all that.
So much
You've got
fun.
to Yeah, you've got to do mission accomplished on every level, but then take the easy path by choice. Sorry,
Mhm.
Slippy. I will not let my boy go down. so, but I like to take the hard route. That is my preferred way to go. However, it means you miss Macbeth, which is my favorite level.
Right. That's potentially my favorite too, because I love the Landmaster tank. So in
Mm,
this game,
yes.
mostly every level except for three of them, if I'm not mistaken, are in the R wing, whether it's a
Yes.
straightforward on rails level or a free all range mode level. But there are two Landmaster tank levels, Macbeth being the superior one, and
Hmm.
one Blue Marine level where you're in a submarine, which
Yeah.
I didn't play this time, but I recall not really loving that level so much. What how did you feel about that one this time? Just to jump right into that, get it out of the way.
Yeah, so Arquus, it feels different because it feels a bit slidey, a bit icy compared to moving your R
Mm,
wing around. So you move your submarine, you move the blue marine around, and it kind of slips through the water. And I mean that's how water works, but it still feels less less in control when you're trying to avoid the enemies.
yeah. But I guess that's I mean there's value in that. It's more realistic. It gives you a different feel when you're playing with that craft as opposed to the aircraft.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. I just think it because it's the only level with it, it feels
Mhm.
so different. But I mean, the whole premise of Star Fox is he's in the R-wing.
Yeah. I think it was wise of them to limit it to just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Landmaster, oh my god. That
Oh, it's a
tank is
great.
fun.
Mm.
And you were talking about Slippy. I think you were referring to when he gets slapped by one of the bosses and ends up landing on a desert planet right there, Titania
Yeah,
maybe?
Titania. Yeah, oh, yeah. Um, I can't remember what that boss is called, but you're in Sector X, and if you take too long defeating it, and he gets hit down, and then it's one of the few times you realize that Slippy is actually useful. That sounds terrible, but he's useful in that he's responsible for the enemy's health gauge.
Yeah. I was wondering, does if you don't have Slippy on a level, do you not get their health gauge at all?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Oh
you don't
wow.
get the boss's enemy shield analyzed. You don't get that. So if Slippy's gone down, you don't see it. There is a playthrough that I've liked to do, which is to have none of your team the whole way through. So it's a Star Fox only run.
Hmm.
So you have
What
to,
do?
if
You shoot
you're
them down?
yeah, you shoot them down as you go. It's terrible. It's terrible, but you shoot everybody down as soon as they pop on screen. You are trying to you're targeting them, and getting them out of there as quick as possible because it changes a little bit, especially if you go the hard path. If you don't have anyone on your team, after you defeat Starwolf, you get a different bit of dialogue from Star Fox.
Oh, interesting. That's fun.
Yeah. So you've never done that. You've never lost your whole team.
Um, I don't know that I've lost all three of them at once, but I definitely have lost them throughout the game here and there. And it makes
Yeah.
it harder though if you end up
Oh
losing
yeah.
them when you go in to fight Starwolf.
Yes. They all target you.
Yeah, exactly. They'll all come after you. So even if they
Yeah.
die in the middle of one of the Starwolf battles, whoever it is will come and you'll have two on you, and then if it happens again, you'll have three on you, which is kind of nuts. Because normally you think like they're all useless, because
Yes.
they're never really shooting anything, they're never really doing anything except getting chased. Every once in a while they'll help you. And I mean, I like
Mm.
the commentary is the best thing. And Peppy
Yes.
is particularly helpful as far as providing tips and strategy and like letting you notice things because he's the grizzled vet, you know?
Yeah.
He
He
was
knows what he's doing.
yeah, he actually flew in the original Star Fox group with Star Fox's dad or with Fox McCloud's dad, James McCloud. And the story
Yes.
goes the first time Andros attacked, Star Fox, the old version, fought against him, and only Peppy escaped, with James McCloud dying. And then
Yeah.
Peppy joined back up with the son, and they started up the new group.
Mm.
But yeah, he's got the iconic do a barrel roll, and he's like Southern too. He's a Southern American hare, which is
Yeah.
pretty
And
fun.
what's the other one? The your father helped me like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. A lot of good quotes from this one. Very quotable
Mm.
game. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I was going to ask you, or I was going to say, you did about 7 runs to be able to hit all of them, but there are actually 25 total combinations to get through here. I
Yeah.
was looking at the map with all of the different directions. That's so cool. And then at the
It's
end of the
so
game, it
many.
shows the path that you took, which planets,
Mm.
who was alive and who was downed. It's so like personal. You know, each time you play
Mm.
the game, and this is a super important part of this game, is just how replayable it was for something that was so simple. It's like every game you played was different when you played Star Fox.
Oh, absolutely. And then if you had enough time for it, and were a big nerd about it, if you got all the medals, like you said, you got all the medals and you unlocked the expert mode and you played through that too. Did you get all the medals on expert mode and unlock the on foot multiplayer?
Huh. I seem to remember on foot multiplayer they're carrying bazookas.
Yeah.
That was only unlocked after you beat the expert mode?
Yeah, so you get all the medals again on expert mode.
Well, damn, I guess I
Yeah.
did cuz I
Yeah.
vividly remember the bazookas. Um
Yes.
it kind of sucked.
Yeah, well, it
But
wasn't. It was kind of like an afterthought, or it was in there because they were going to develop a bit more on foot mode, but they didn't really, so they just left it in the multiplayer.
Mm,
Is the vibe I get from it.
yeah. Yeah, I
So,
guess I did. So I played this game a
mm.
lot. I tell you, I played it a lot. I'm not
Yeah,
good at many video games, but I guess this one I mastered. This is the Nintendo
yeah,
64 era. What else was I doing? I got
yeah, exactly.
all the 007 stuff in GoldenEye, and I guess I did this one too. Same era.
Mm.
Speaking of all these kind of different paths and unlockable stuff, one thing about this game is the difficulty curve, I feel like is really great because you start off the game and it feels pretty easy, right? The beginning, it's like, oh, this is
Yeah.
easy.
Yep.
It's not super challenging. It's not like the old arcade space shooters. It's not like Ikaruga. It's not a bullet hell. And it's very easy to start. Then, because you have all of these different paths, that means that you have kind of optional challenges. They're opt in challenges because to take the
Mm.
different paths, you have to do more difficult things a lot of the time. Like you mentioned, the warps. That was one that was always a pain to do in the asteroid belt. They're
Oh yeah.
you have to do like something like 7 or 8 warps. There are these little circular things, and you fly the R wing through it. And as you do, you end up going faster and faster, and your maneuverability becomes less and less, and you have to weave back and forth and hit all of these to be able to finish the level in that way. And
Mm.
some of the other challenges, the one that I couldn't remember this time was I thought, how the heck do I get to the top? I guess it was to Aquas maybe from Sector Y or yeah, Sector Y, I
Yes.
think.
Yep. Sector Y.
And I had no idea, so I looked it up. You just have to shoot 100 enemies down. And
Yeah.
that can be hard
Yep.
because like they do that to you in a level that doesn't have the abundance of enemies that you might find in others, because you get in a lot of the other levels you'll have huge formations where they all fly out all in a row and you
Yeah.
could blast like 10 of them all at once, but they put demanding requirements to get the accomplished tag at the end of the level instead of complete on a
Mm.
level that doesn't really have a lot for you to shoot. So
Yeah.
I didn't do that this time. And I feel like that was one that was always difficult.
Yeah. I remember Sector Y. Oh, again, oh, the same. Wondering how to get the mission accomplished, and there was a point in the middle of the level where Fox says, "We're going to break through that fleet, and if you get Falco, is that the best you can do? You know, you're nowhere near enough enemies down.
Oh, or he
But if you
says,
get
Fox, you're supposed to shoot them all.
shoot them
Is that
all,
that
that's
one?
the one. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
too. Or Pep, and then when Peppy says, "You're becoming a better pilot," you're on the right track.
Oh,
Like you've killed enough enemies at that
interesting.
point.
So they're
Yeah.
hinting
So there
at it
are
with the
clues.
dialogue. It's
Yes.
cool.
Yes. Yeah. And they're kind of hinting at it without telling you in that level particularly where they say, don't let any of them through. Is that the one? Anyway, they
Maybe
say
don't let
something
any of
like,
them
we're
through.
gonna yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Area 6 does that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
classic Nintendo.
Back to what you said about Corneria, where you're starting, where it feels pretty easy. You can skip the training mode altogether if you want, because it's kind of a tutorial in there, but it's a very quick one. So if you want to go more in depth and actually learn how to maneuver your R-wing better, absolutely do training mode. But you can jump straight into the game, which I really admire. That's really good level design.
Yeah. I was thinking about all the levels, like all the different areas. Most of them are really good. There are only maybe a couple that I find not so great. Are there any that you didn't love?
I don't particularly like. Is it Sector Z with the missiles coming at Great Fox?
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
that's the
that
one toward the end.
Yeah, yeah. Sector Z to me is kind of forgettable. Um,
Mhm.
there's some missiles coming, shoot them down. I think it's the least enjoyable level. Um, Titania behind that only because I don't like going there, but
Mm.
it's not a bad level.
What's unfortunate
The rest are
about
fine.
Titania is that you can either do Titania or Macbeth. There's no way to do both of the tank levels
Yes.
in one run,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is sad to me. I
Yeah.
kind of
And I
like
keep forgetting.
Titania.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that it's there. I suppose because I don't choose to play the easy route, and Titania's on
Mm,
there.
right. Yeah, and you can't really get down to there from the top
No.
if you've gone along. What else?
Mm.
Some of the levels have other characters, right? That show up.
Yes.
Who are some of the
Yep.
side characters?
So you got Bill, who arrives
Bill.
on. Is that Yeah. Is that you? Um, yeah, Bill comes along and helps you out on, is it Fortuna, whatever
Yeah,
whatever that level is.
Fortuna.
Yeah, it's called Fortuna in the game, and and that's apparently a mistake.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, apparently it should be Fortuna, but anyway, everybody look up the wiki for for that. Anyway, Fortuna with Bill, and then on Zonus you get to see Cat.
Cat.
Yeah.
She could kiss
Uh,
us.
but they come back as well. They help you out on the next level. So Cat follows you to Sector Z. Bill goes to Sol or to Sector X, depending on which path you choose, or if you don't destroy the saucer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. I love all of the crisscrossing and the different characters and how everything is there's just so much interesting little stuff that can happen throughout your journey.
Mm.
And specifically, one thing that's interesting is the end. You go to Venom, it's just one planet, but there are two versions of it, depending on whether you come from Bolse, which is on the easy path, which is a level I don't really like, Bolse,
Mm.
or Area 6, which is a pretty tough level, but
That's the
fun.
hardest one. Yes.
Yeah. And if you
Yep.
come from Bolse, you do like kind of a more normal on rails trip through Venom, fighting a lot of little enemies and going through various routes, and then ultimately traveling in to fight Andros. But if you come from Area 6, you go onto Venom, and it's an all range fight against a bunch of enemies, and Starwolf shows up again, and they're much tougher.
Yes. So maybe I'm skipping ahead here, but which Andros was scarier to you as a
Was
kid?
scarier.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely the eyeballs on the brain and eyeballs was freaky. God. I thought he was kind of scary in general though, just the big floating head of Andros.
Head. Yeah.
I didn't
Yep.
I didn't love him. I mean, it was a good fight,
No.
but like he didn't make me feel comfortable, I'll tell you that much.
No. I think as a 9-year-old playing this, the first time I got to Andros as a brain, I actually paused the game, put down the controller, and walked away because I was too scared to do it.
That's
And
funny.
so I had to get my mum or my brother to come and defeat Andros at the end. Now I don't have that problem, thankfully, but that that's a fond memory of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have that problem. I think I was 12, but for me, the fear was losing the fight mostly because it was
Yeah.
also
Yep.
kind of hard, that brain version he had
Mm.
like his eyes floating around and it always wanted to like ram into you, the brain, and get you
Yes.
trapped in like the cerebellum and spaghetti that was floating underneath the
Yeah.
brain,
Yeah. And I think that was the scary part was and the evil
getting caught.
laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's talk about Andros for a little bit. A very cool
Mm.
villain and presented in a really cool way because you don't have any idea really what he is until maybe the level just before. I think he first shows up and talks to you and you see his
Yeah.
face like yapping in the bottom of the screen on Area 6,
Yes.
which is the second to last level. But up until
Mm.
then, he's just like this mysterious evil that you know is like a really bad guy, but you have no idea who he is. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I think so too. And that probably added to a bit of the fear factor, possibly. So when you actually do verse him, and he's just this massive floating head, it's how did this guy get here?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that him or is that another? Like because he's kind of like I describe him as a mad bioengineering scientist because a lot of the enemies, a lot of the bosses are like a blend of biological and mechanical. So I wonder if
Yeah.
that final thing that you fight is like a thing that he built and maybe he's inside of it piloting it and he's just like a little person and it's built in his image or something. I don't know. We need some
Get
Star
in the
Fox lore
comments.
sters to tell us. Are there Star Fox
Yep.
lorsters? Is that a thing?
I have never heard that said before.
Those are two words that have never gone together in a sentence.
It's very good.
There's gotta be. There's gotta be. There's a Wikipedia, rwingpedia,
Yes.
fandom.com.
Yes.
I'm looking at it
That's
right
the
now.
one.
There's gotta be something in there. But speaking of bosses, what'd you think of the bosses in general, besides Andros?
Ooh, bosses in general, great.
Yeah.
You can't. Uh, this is to me a perfect game. Good balance of bosses. From the very first one, which you can defeat in about less than 20
Mm-hmm.
seconds, up until Area 6, that is the most frustrating boss.
Ugh, so
Because it feels,
laborious.
yeah, it takes so long. There's so many stages to it. Um, but generally speaking, they're a good fine like finale to each level.
Mm-hmm. And they're pretty varied. Pretty varied too.
Mm,
Like on the sun, there's the one that dives into the plasma and up and out and like throws things
mm.
at you. You've got obviously that one that you just said in Area 6, which is wild. Macbeth is super cool. Maybe we should like camp out on Macbeth a little bit. It's the guy, he's
Oh,
like
please.
piloting a train and you're chasing it, like breaking through it bit by bit, like knocking off the last car and then the car, and he'll say like, "Oh, cut off the back, let it go," and then you have to chase further. And I don't know what the fight actually is because I always hit all the switches on the railway,
Ah,
so I don't
yeah.
remember the
If
fight.
you, I do. I decided to go both do both endings for that level. So at the end of it, so you see it pop out of the train at the end. I didn't expect to have to use this, and the guy, the whatever it is attached to
Oh,
the
the like
train comes up.
butterfly thing, almost,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's like
So
a
that
kite.
yes. So the first stage is it has that jaw that opens up,
Hmm.
and it tries to pick you up and throw you down. Um, and then the first stage is you knock that off, so that goes off, and then it shoots at you. So you've got to avoid. You've got to use your hover mechanic to get out of the way of the beam that comes out, and you just keep shooting it as it goes. And then like the part of the train opens up, and you've got to fire in there, and it weakens the thing, and then eventually you defeat it, and it crashes into the train, and the train explodes.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. But the cooler way, tell us the cooler way. The more,
The
I guess
cooler
maybe it's
way.
not cooler, but it's definitely very satisfying.
Oh yeah, and massive explosion, the biggest explosions in the whole game. So this is where the rumble pack goes crazy. You
Mm-hmm.
hit the 8 switches left and right of the train tracks, and some of them are harder to get because you've got to open up little gates to get
Mm-hmm.
them. You hit the brake, you hit the switcher, and it changes the track, and the train ends up going into the depot and having a massive explosion. It looks so cool. So you get one little one just goes pow, and then it's just explosion after explosion after explosion. What a
Yeah.
cool ending.
Yeah, and it feels like the tide is turning there.
Hmm.
And it's particularly satisfying because that boss, that voice actor, is just such a cocky prick.
Oh yeah.
I just don't like him at all.
Mm.
So it's really fun. That one, yeah, that's one of my favorite levels in the game, I think.
The whole level is great, and the boss just icing on the cake. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, wonderful. Either way, it's great.
Yeah. Have you been able to succeed at doing the warp from sector X to sector Z? Where there are
Yes.
the panels with like two arrows on either side, and I think you have to shoot
Yeah.
them a bunch of times and go through. I didn't do it
I
this
have
time.
I have done it. I did it once this time round, but only because I only visited Sector X once, I think. But historically, yeah, I've done it. I've probably only done it a few times because getting the last panel is particularly difficult.
Yeah. And it's not really
Yeah,
worth
straight
it
after another one.
because
No.
basically if you do that, well, I guess you can always when you go to the world the solar system map, you can actually choose to do the other route if you get the better one. But I don't know if you can do
Yeah.
it when you go from Sector X to Z because that's a warp. I'm not sure. But the
Yeah.
point is, you're skipping over Macbeth and going to Sector Z, so you're skipping the best level to go to one of the worst levels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
It's
not
not worth
even,
it.
you're not missing anything.
No. No.
What else?
Can you do
Let's,
all three sectors in one playthrough? I'm trying to think.
you can, yeah,
Yeah.
because you'd
That's a
go
tough
from
one.
Corneria to Sector Y to Katina to Sector X to Sector Z to either Area 6 or Bolse and then Venom.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Katina's the one I forgot about.
yeah. Okay, so Brittany, you're a musician. Let's talk
Yes.
about the music in this game because I think it's
Oh,
pretty
yes.
awesome and also like underhyped.
100%. Oh my gosh. The music is incredible. The main theme and some of the motifs are written by Koji Kondo. I see you got that. But Hajime Wakai did all the levels and boss music.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know the name Hajime Wakai, he did Pikmin as well.
Oh,
So
very
and quite a
cool.
few other Nintendo things. So the dream duo right there in
Yeah.
terms of the music. No wonder the music is incredible.
Yeah. And somehow, I don't know what it is, but like, I don't think I've ever really heard this game significantly recognized for its music. Maybe because there's just so much else going on, and maybe there's more focus on the voice acting, which is so fun. I don't know, but it's so
Possibly.
good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The music shouldn't be the standout piece. It's to accompany your journey through a game. That's what the music is. That's what game music is for most of the
Hmm.
time. Um, in this case, though, I think it's the perfect balance, and it's very militant because remember we're supporting an army
Hmm.
um, to go through, and but then you get some other things like Sector Y's music is very different. Again,
Is that
doesn't
that's like
quite.
kind of quiet
Yeah,
and like mysterious almost?
yeah,
It like
yeah.
kind of
So they
represents the emptiness of the space.
that's it. Yeah.
But otherwise, most of the stuff is very bombastic and driving, and some of it's kind of like complex. Like the boss themes, they do
Yes.
a lot, and I'm
Oh
here
yeah,
for it.
absolutely. Yeah, it keeps you going. If you can recall Area Six's music particularly, um, because that is such a high
Oh
octane
yeah,
level, like it non-stop. The music also accompanies that so well in that the music is non-stop. So I want to play in an orchestra and play all these music tracks with a full orchestra because I
that'd be
think
so
for
cool.
me that's the part that is missing. Like even the ending of the credits music, I go, how cool would that be with a full string orchestra and all this? Yeah, everybody along with it, full timpani roll. Just it'd be
Yeah,
great to see it in concert.
if they remake this game with a much larger capacity, because obviously it's on a Nintendo 64 cartridge, it's like 32 megabytes, the whole game.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
they had the capacity to do a full orchestra soundtrack, that would be so legit. And that Area
Mm.
6, I played that level a few times because I was dying a little bit. But it feels like the final push, which it is, at the end of like a movie to go and like get the bad guy. And as you go, it's just like ramping up and up and up and up, and I love it. So
Mm.
good. Okay. What is there anything else that we didn't quite cover that you think has to be said before we get to our final thoughts?
I don't think we've talked about some of the power ups. I mean, you
Oh,
like
right.
vaguely mentioned, but like how you actually defeat your enemies and things like that. So, you're shooting, you start with one laser and then you get a twin laser and then you get the super laser. So
Right.
your firepower is improved. You've got bombs, which are kind a finite resource
You can have
Like
up to
you know,
9 of
you
them,
can
I
only carry
think, right?
9 at a time, and you need them for for the boss on Zonus. You got to have bombs, and so, but the game has a way of replenishing it the whole
Mm-hmm.
way, all the way. So even on Soul, you defeat an enemy and ammo comes at you, so you pick up some more bombs. Um, I didn't. I don't see them much, but in the manual, there's the star rings, the four-pointed
Yep.
like life.
They
Yeah,
give you like more health.
yeah, than the silver rings. They really only appear on Soul, and you don't see them anywhere else. That I can
No,
recall.
I've seen them in other places. I actually just was playing. I think I got one in one of the sectors. I've seen them in like a few
Yeah,
places, but they're very elusive, or like
yeah.
they
There's
only
not a lot
show
of
up
them.
if you shoot like certain enemies. And that's something about this game too, is like they'll do kind of groups of enemies, and if you get all of them, they'll give you the power up. And
Yeah.
if there
Yep.
are like other certain enemies that are either a different type or a different color, and if you get that particular enemy, they'll give you a power up. And I find that
Yeah.
anytime I don't have the third strength of laser, the blue double laser, I
Mm.
feel like a baby. Like I can't do anything.
Yes.
So anytime I
Yep.
lose that, I'm like, "Oh no, this is the worst." And that
You
happens
can't go
anytime you
without it.
restart a level too. If you die or if you deliberately restart, you go back to 3 bombs and you're one dinky green laser, and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
But the
god.
charged, and there's also the charge laser as well. So using that to lock on and shoot bombs,
Yes.
or the laser attack. So you can, so the way, like, you have to use that to rack up your kill count, in order to get those medals and things like that.
Yeah, I play this game basically by holding the A button, which brings up that lock on, and just locking on to whatever I can, shooting, double tapping the A button to launch off the laser, the laser
Yes.
blast that locks on, and just
Mm.
doing it over and over again because that will take out a group of up to like 5 if they're all tightly packed together, and then in
Yeah.
between blasting the laser as much as possible. But yeah, something that I failed to do a lot was do the lock on and fire the bomb, but that's so useful. And like I would remember and be like, "Oh
Yes.
yeah, I got to do that."
Yes, because multiple hits give you bonus hits.
Mhm.
So if you, yeah, so the only way to get medals on some of the levels is to get multiple enemies at once, and then it gives you like a hit plus one or a hit plus
Yeah,
three or
multiplier
whatever it
sort
is.
of.
So yeah, yeah,
What else? Oh, there's the repair item, which is pretty
ah,
important because there's a mechanic in here that if you bump into enough stuff, you'll lose a wing of the R wing and
mm,
your laser upgrade at the same time. So if you like are
yes,
not a good pilot, and or if you're, I mean, I can't even say if you're not a good pilot because some of the areas make you do a lot of maneuvering. So if you're anything less than a phenomenal pilot in some parts, you'll end up
mm.
smashing a lot. So you'll lose your laser, and that sucks.
I'm trying to think of the last time I lost one of the wings because it's not a power up you see a lot unless you're crashing a lot.
Yeah, I crashed
Um,
quite a bit
s-
this time through. I'm not as good as I used to be.
so I used the NSO Nintendo 64 controller, so
Perfect.
wireless, which is so nice.
Yeah.
I tried to use it with the Pro controller or Joy Cons. It's You just can't. It's not built for that.
It just feels off.
Yeah,
Joy
yeah.
Cons, I
I
can't use
don't.
the Joy Cons for literally anything though. So
Yeah, yep,
I was just
yep.
posting in the Discord about the new handheld I got, and I'm like, why is this made so small? And I feel like that about the Switch and all the DSs, and well, maybe not all the DSs because
Mm,
they made the bigger ones, but like a lot of the Nintendo stuff has really shrunk down from the old days, and
yeah.
it's difficult for someone with my hands. I don't know,
And
it's
then you
just
get
like
the
a lot
Switch
of.
2 and they've got a bigger Joy-Con now, so
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, but here we are. We're at the end of our episode, And at the end of every episode, we like to decide whether a game we played was or is worth revisiting in 2026 now and beyond. And if it is, then we call it a smash. And if it's not, well, then it's more of a brick. Now, I'm pretty sure this is an obvious answer, but Brittany, tell us, smash or brick?
100% Smash. This is the perfect game on Nintendo 64. Um, does so much music design, sound design, voice acting, the level design, everything works on this one. And I'm sorry that Miyamoto wasn't 100% happy with this, but he should have been. It's an excellent game. Everybody should play it. Hands down. There's no argument or question.
And if you disagree, you're wrong.
Exactly right.
Nice. So smash from Brittany, and it's a smash from me too. Like, no doubt. I played this so much, and I find that this one is often, when people talk about the Nintendo 64, one thing that they say is, there was a group of such amazing games on the Nintendo 64. I know it didn't have
Mm,
as big a library as X, Y, or Z console, but the great games were so great. And people would be like, there was Mario, there was Ocarina of Time, there was Majora's Mask, there was GoldenEye, there was
mm.
Perfect Dark, there was Mario Kart 64, there was Banjo Kazooie. And I'm like, Star Fox. Star Fox was
Yeah,
there too, and it was awesome, and it
yeah,
should be in that conversation. But a lot of
it
times, for
should.
whatever reason, people don't include it.
Yeah, people go on rails and are a bit hesitant about it, maybe. But I will say that 2026 playing this on Nintendo 64, it still looks really good.
Yes. I think because of, I
Yeah.
don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but even though it's polygonal, in this environment, in space with very mechanical things and like structural things, all the
Mm.
polygons are kind of invisible because the things are supposed to be
Yeah.
polygonal. And it's just
Mm.
kind of a brilliant use of those early 3D graphics. And you only really notice it in the cutscenes where they get out and they're walking, and you're like, oh yeah, look at their little
Little
segmented
feet.
arms and legs. They look like Cloud Strife, kind of the same vibe.
Yes.
And it's
Too many
nostalgic, but
angles.
you notice and you're like, oh wow, yeah, I forgot, because it didn't
Yes.
it didn't rear its head really in the main part of the game. But this is only ranked on Metacritic as the 21st best game on the console, and no, no, it's better than 21st. It may not be first or third or fifth, but it's like a top
Top 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Miyamoto, you said he wasn't satisfied. He wasn't 100% satisfied with the final version of the game, but he did feel it made better use of the Nintendo 64's increased power than Super Mario 64 did. And that's saying
Mm.
something. So yeah, smash from me, smash from you. So Star Fox 64 is a smash, and was/is worth revisiting in 2026 and beyond. Thanks everybody for listening and playing along with us, and tell your friends, please. It helps so much. Just spread the word. And if you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting platform and leave us a glowing rating and review if they have them. I'll always be on the lookout for reviews to read, and if I see one, I'll read it on the show. If you want to go above and beyond that and support monetarily while getting some fun perks, head over to patreon.com/smashingbricks and become a patron for as little as $1 a month. Specifically, support the Fireflower tier. That's a good tier, right, Brittany?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you get your monthly bonus round episodes that you've been hearing on the main feed, but you get them a year earlier, and they'll tie in with the most recent episode. And you'll also get to submit games to a much smaller list for upcoming Power Up episodes where you choose the games that we play. Then Tanuki tier patrons get handwritten notes for every episode and ongoing recognition on the show. And Starman tier patrons like Ms. Muso get to join me on an episode. This is the point where I would normally thank you for being a Tanuki and Starman tier supporter, so thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I also have a new patron supporter to thank. This is going out to Shane's World, who decided to support the show at the Super Mushroom tier. Thanks, Shane. Smashing Bricks has a Discord server, so head over there. You'll find that link in the description. You can talk about anything from the past games to future games to any other games to anything else in life. And you'll find all these links at links.smashingbricks.com. As for the next episode, I'll be joined by Jake from Grindin' with the Boys. I was on that show, by the way. We talked about Dark Souls. And we'll be playing the Seventh Saga for Super Nintendo. A known
Fantastic.
terrible game, according to many people. However, one of my favorites from childhood. So go get your hands on a copy, play along, send in your thoughts, and join us next time on Smashing Bricks. That wraps it up for today. I'm Eddie Inzauto. That is Ms. Muso. Thanks, Ms. Muso.
Pleasure.
And until next time, may the nostalgia be with you.